Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jai Prabhupada, 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 Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhagati Sadma. Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhagati Sadma. Shri Guru Charana Padma Kevala Bhagati Sadma. Padma Kevala Bhagati Sadma. Banda Mui Sabadana Mate. Banda Mui Sabadana Mate. Mate Jara Prasade Ban Bhavatori Jana Prasade Bhai Bhavadoriya Jara Prasade Bhai Bhavadoriya Jai Doriya Jai Krishna Prapti Ho Jai Jai Prapti Ho Jai Krishna Prapti Ho Jai Mukha Padma Bhagya Chite Te Koriya Kya Padma Bhagya Chite Te Koriya Kya Guru Mukha Padma Bhagya Chite Te Koriya Kya Bhagya Chite Koriya Kya Arana Koriya Maniya Sa Maniya Sa Arana Koriya Maniya Sa Guru Charane Rati Ese Uttama Gati Rati Ese Uttama Gati Shri Guru Charane Rati Ese Uttama Gati Nerati Ekserutamagati Vipasade Purisavasa Sade Purisavasa Vipasade Purisavasa Sade Purisavasa Kakudana Dilage Jamne Jamne Tabute Kakudana Dilage Jamne Jamne Tabute Yigane de Bhagatita Sita Yigane de Bhagatita Dhamma Bhakti Jayate Adhyathanasa Jati Jayate Adhyathanasa Dhamma Bhakti Jayate Adhyathanasa Jati Vedega Jana Rajarita Vedega Jana Rajarita Vidu Karuna Sindhu Andamajana Labandu Guru Garila Sindhu Andamajana Labandu Logana Logera Devana Logera Devana Logana Logera Devana Prabhu Goro Doya Deha Mare Para Joya Doya Deha Mare Ha Prabhu Goro Doya Deha Mare Para Joya Vega Jisiti Bhuvana Srila Prabhupada Bhattita Pavana Guru Garina Sindhu Andamajana Labandu Guru Garina Sindhu Andamajana Labandu Logana Logera Jivana Logana Logera Jivana Prabhu Goro Doya Deha Mare Para Joya Prabhu Goro Doya Deha Mare Para Joya Vega Jisiti Bhuvana Srila Prabhupada Bhattita Pavana Srila Prabhupada Bhattita Pavana Jai Prabhupada Jai Prabhupada Prabhupada Jai Prabhupada Jai Prabhupada 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 Jai Prabhupada Prabhupada Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamiti Namane Namah Srimate Bhaktivedanta Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvitesha Sunyavadi Bhasyacharya Siddharine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Bhasyacharya Siddharine Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jai Shri Krishna Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jai Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jai Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare Nama, Krishna Yadavaya Nama, Hare Hare Nama, Krishna Yadavaya Nama, Krishna Yadavaya Nama, Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Nama, Madhavaya Keshavaya Nama, Yadavaya Madhavaya Keshavaya Nama, Keshavaya Nama, Rupa Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudan, Rupa Govinda Ram Shri Madhusudan, Ram Shri Madhusudan, Giridhari Gopinath Modana Moha, Giridhari Gopinath Modana Moha, Shri Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Sita, Advaita Sita, Shri Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Sita, Hare Guru Vaishnava Bhagavad Gita, Hare Guru Vaishnava Bhagavad Gita, Hare Guru Vaishnava Bhagavad Gita, Hirup Susanata Mata Raghunatha, Hirup Susanata Mata Raghunatha, Hirup Susanata Mata Raghunatha, Shiva Gopala Bhatta Gata Raghunatha, Gopala Bhatta Hare Hare Nama Krishna Yadavaya Nama, Hare Hare Nama Krishna Yadavaya Nama, Yadavaya Madhavaya Krishnavaya Nama, Yadavaya Madhavaya Krishnavaya Nama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Radha Shama Sundar, Radha Shama Sundar, Radha. Radha Shama Sundar, Radha Shama Sundar, Radha. Radhe Radhe, Radhe Radhe, Radha Shama Sundar, Radha Shama Sundar, Radhe. Krishna Balaram, 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 Krishna Balaram. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Oh, oh. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Oh, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Babu Paramahamsa Parajikacharya Sri Sima. His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parajikacharya Sri Srimad His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Sri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Ramsi Gahoshi Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shaima Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Navadvip Dham Ki Jai. New Raman Reti Dham Ki Jai. Gangamai Jamunamai Tulsi Devi Bhakti Devi Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Harinam Sankirtan Ki Jai. Transcendental Book Distribution Ki Jai. Prashadam Distribution Ki Jai. ISKCON founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Gaura Premanandi. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga.
Thank you. Next Monday. Hare Krishna. So reading some Prabhupada nectar. No matter what else he was doing, Srila Prabhupada put it in his schedule, even when he was ill, giving Bhagavatam class in the morning. Wherever he traveled, he lived with the devotees and joined them to give the morning class. Here was the opportunity to watch his gestures and expressions as he spoke, absorbed in Srimad Bhagavatam. A dull student might think that Prabhupada was saying the same things, using the same repertoire of verses, but Prabhupada was always quoting the verses to prove different points in different contexts. He was always discovering new lights. He also said that repetition was necessary to learn. For most devotees in the later years, this was the one sure time to be with him in his personal form, to sit and hear. It was formal, and one might wish for other situations in which to ask personal questions and to have a reply just for oneself. Yet the lectures were great mercy, and to the receptive student, they were very personal. Devotees have testified how in a large audience, when Prabhupada said, "Distribute books," they took it to heart and formed their lives on that order. Many have testified that they found Prabhupada looked at them and spoke especially to them in his lecture, even though they knew he was speaking to everyone else as well. This was the time for all to be with him. Each morning, without fail, he would begin looking at the verse and speaking as if he was entering a sacred river. He immersed himself at once in Srimad Bhagavatam. He hardly ever chose another literature to speak from in the morning. What an example that the Srimad Bhagavatam contains all else and is perfect for all our days. He sat in one place in the traditional posture of the Guru, legs crossed, sitting on the Vyasasana, with spectacles, book in hand, microphone, gesturing and looking up. He was 100% Vyasadev's representative, giving us the transcendental wisdom. Seeing Srila Prabhupada's personal example even today by means of movies or tape recordings, all the devotees of the Krishna consciousness movement may adopt the same procedures and do as he taught. Like him, we can proceed the class by singing Jaya Radha Madhava and with kartals. Then we can recite Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, then the Sanskrit, synonyms, translation, purport. We have no need to invent something new. After he showed us hundreds and hundreds of times, how can we fail to grasp the instruction that we should continue the morning tradition of sitting together and hearing and speaking? A devotee once told Srila Prabhupada that many disciples slept during classes, and Srila Prabhupada replied that he knew. He said his classes were for advanced students. Srila Prabhupada gave untiringly as the loving instructor, but it was up to his disciples to benefit. I guess that I was one of those who sometimes slept in Srimad Bhagavatam class. Once I even asked Srila Prabhupada what to do about my sad plight. At first he replied by making a joke. He said there is an atheistic joke in India. Srimad Bhagavatam is a cure for insomnia. When Srila Prabhupada said this, I laughed, but I didn't want it to be true of me. Sometimes when Prabhupada found a devotee sleeping in his class, he would tell him to stand up and go to the rear. Srimad Bhagavatam class was for his advanced students, but he kept giving us chances to become more advanced. Srila Prabhupada spoke with rhetorical power and emotion straight from his deep convictions. He had great oratorical skill, emphasizing his points with aesthetic effects, but none of it was done for show or with lack of realization, not like the rasa dance talks of bogus Bhagavatam reciters. Srila Prabhupada wrote Bhagavatam purports, and he lived the life of the Bhagavatam. He was also the Bhagavatam's ideal preacher. When he spoke, the emotions were always right. Srila Prabhupada kindly gave all of those classes, and now by tape recording, we hear them still, even as we wake in the morning while taking prasadam, driving the car, flying in the plane, in sickbed or deathbed. Those matchless gifts continue in our ears to cleanse our hearts and remind us that we are his shishya. We are followers of the Srimad Bhagavatam. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. All right, so just a few things to put on the calendar. This Sunday is Chandan Yatra, so we are still grinding Chandan in earnest, and we'll have a wonderful festival on Sunday, one of the favorite of the year. And the following Sunday is Tampa Rath Yatra. There'll be a bus to take all the devotees who want to go to Tampa. You can see Radha Damodar Prabhu to get a spot on that bus. Also a reminder that there are devotees in hospital. Anyone who would like to visit the devotees there, I know Bibatsu and Sarvasatya, you can contact maybe Mahavishnu Priya by email and get the information. Also, Kirtita Prabhu is in the hospital. She has pneumonia, so we ask the devotees to offer prayers on her behalf for a speedy healing. And I just want to mention that yesterday when I announced about the gardens, I had been misinformed, and actually Radha Damodar Prabhu had come out, and he weeded the whole garden out front when you pull in. That's Nanda's garden, but which she can't weed right now. So Radha Damodar Prabhu had done all that, and Janardhan Prabhu had come during the week, and he had weeded the small garden around the Tulsi gazebo, so I want to give them some appreciation for having done that. Hari Bol. Here are the devotees who assisted their spiritual master dressing the deities today. Shishi Radha Sham Sundar, Shranti Devi Dasi, Chota Radha Sham Sundar, Guru Prasad Devi Dasi, Shri Shri Krishna Balaram, Nitai Priya Devi Dasi, Chota Krishna Balaram, Vijay Radha Devi Dasi, Shri Shri Gaurnitai Madhuri Gopi Devi Dasi, Chota Gaurnitai Manjari Sundari Devi Dasi, Gurus and Lord Nishingadev, Leela Devi Dasi, and Ramia Prabhu is giving class today.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janaballabha Girivaradhari
Vijanabalabha Girivardhari Yasodanandana Bhajadanaranjana Yasodanandana Bhajadanaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Janaballabha Girivardhari Gopi Janaballabha Girivardhari Yasodanandana Bhajadanaranjana Yasodanandana Bhajadanaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Om Vishnu Pad Paramahamsa Prabhajakacharya Satara Sata Shishima Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnavinda Ki ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Prem Se Gaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasri Gaur Bhaktavinda Ki Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Shyama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Shri Mayapur Navadvip Dham Ki Ganga Mai Ki Jamuna Mai Ki Bhakti Devi Ki Srimati Tulsi Devi Ki Samaveda Bhaktivinoda Ki Srimad Bhagavatam Grantaraj Ki Gaur Premanandi All glories assemble devotees All glories assemble devotees All glories assemble devotees All glories Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga All glories Shri Prabhupada. So today I think we'll be reading from 10th Canto, Chapter 69, texts 28 through 31. All right? Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Oh, let me see. From text 28. We'll recite together text 30. So I'll just read through these earlier texts. Kutrachid dvijamukebhyo dadatanga swalankrita itihasa puranani shrinvantam mangalani cha. Somewhere he was giving well-decorated cows to exalted Brahmins, and elsewhere he was listening to auspicious narration of the epic histories and Puranas. Purport by the followers of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Srila Vaishnava Chakrabarti Thakur informs us that giving cows in charity occurs in the morning, while hearing histories takes place in the afternoon. Text 29. Asantam hasakataya kadachid priyaya kriyaya Vapi dharmam sevamanam artakamo chakutrachit. Somewhere Lord Krishna was found enjoying the company of a particular wife by exchanging joking words with her. Somewhere else he was found engaged along with his wife in religious ritualistic functions. Somewhere Krishna was found engaged in matters of economic development, and somewhere else he was found enjoying family life according to regular principles of the Shastras. Report. This translation is based on Srila Prabhupada's Krishna. Joking conversations take place during the nighttime, whereas religious rituals, economic development, and family enjoyment occur both day and night. So text 31. Jayantam ekam asinam Jayantam ekam asinam Purusham prakrite param Purusham prakrite param Shushantam gurun vapi Shushantam gurung vapi Gamar bogai sapayaya Gamar bogai sapayaya Dvayantam ekamasinam Purusham prakrite param Shushantam gurum vapi Gamar bogar sapayaya Jayantam ekamasinam Purusham prakrite param Shushantam gurun vapi Kamar bogar sapayaya Jayantam ekamasinam Purusham prakrite param Shushantam gurun vapi Jayantam ekamasinam Purusham prakrite param Shushantam gurun vapi Kamar bogar sapayaya Jayantam ekamasinam Purusham prakrite param Shushantam gurun vapi Kamar bogar sapayaya. Ladies? Jayantam ekamasinam Mekamasinam Purusham Prakite Param Yushu Shantam Gurun Vapi Kamer Bogar Sapaya Gayantam Ekamasinam Purusham Prakrite Param Yushu Shantam Gurun Vapi Kamar Bogar Sapaya Gayantam Ekamasinam Purusham Prakrite Param Shushu Shantam Gurun Vapi Kamar Bogar Sapaya Jayantam meditating Ekam alone Asinam sitting Purusham on the Supreme Personality of Godhead Prakrite to material nature Param transcendental Shushantam rendering menial service Gurun to his elders Kva api somewhere Kamai desirable Bogai with objects of enjoyment Sapayaya and with worship. Translation. Somewhere he was sitting alone, meditating on the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is transcendental to material nature. Somewhere he was rendering menial service to his elders, offering them desirable things and reverential worship. Please repeat. Somewhere he was sitting alone, meditating on the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is transcendental to material nature. And somewhere he was rendering menial service to his elders, offering them desirable things and reverential worship. Purport. Srila Prabhupada comments, meditation as recommended in authorized scriptures is meant for concentrating one's mind on the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vishnu. Lord Krishna is himself the original Vishnu, but because he played the part of a human being, he taught us definitely by his personal behavior what is meant by meditation. This activity of meditation indicates the Brahma Muhurta, the early morning hours before sunrise. Text 31. Kurvantam vigraham kaischit sandhyam chantyatra keshavam kutrapi saharamena chintayantam satam shivam. Translation. In one place he was planning battles in consultation with some of his advisors. In another place he was making peace. Somewhere Lord Keshava and Lord Balaram were together pondering the welfare of the pious. Om Jnana Timirandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapidam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadanti Kam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamala Shri Gurum Vaishnavam Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raganatam Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Brijana Setam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Kamscha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurange Radhe Vrindavaneshware Vishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hare Priye Vanchakopa Turubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhyeva Cha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishve Namo Namah. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasari Gaur Bhaktivinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So this chapter is giving us some very important information on Krishna's activities. And this is our goal of Krishna consciousness, to recite, to remember, and become absorbed in the activities of Krishna continuously on a daily basis. But what are Krishna's detailed activities? In the vast world, this earth planet and everywhere else, hardly anyone knows. They don't actually understand what are God's detailed activities. They don't know what His detailed glories are. They have so little knowledge available to them in their daily studies and whatever sources they use. The other day, because I'm on I'm on Facebook regularly, conversing with different people we're in contact with. So there was somebody had posted some devotee, I believe, had posted a short video clip of some evangelical preacher in which he was walking down the street and suddenly he burst out in song glorifying God, and then all the people gathered around and the whole audience, everybody was chanting, and the onlookers were amazed and they're like, wow, this is incredible. Somebody's glorifying God and everybody's having such wonderful feelings about it. But I noted as I heard this that while it's very wonderful and notable, he's glorifying God, he didn't have much to say. He described maybe 3 or 4 characteristics of God. That He was powerful, He was merciful, He was kind in different ways, and that He had saved them. And after that, that was it. He couldn't say anything more. That was the whole song. So this is actually reminded me why people don't praise God more, praise Krishna. Because they don't know what to say about Him. If you don't have much information, how long will you be able to glorify God? Just say, oh, God is great, God is great. You could do that, but most of us, many people have a little more advanced, let's say, intellectual capability, and they want to know more. They want to understand more why I should glorify God. What makes Him so special? What are the details? And without this information, it becomes very difficult to think about engaging in glorifying God 24 hours a day. Most people couldn't go around saying, Jai Shri Krishna all day long. They want to know, who is Krishna? Why am I glorifying Him? Or what to speak of saying, God is great, God is glorious. It's even less impetus, because even the word God is very amorphous. It has a very limited meaning compared to the word Krishna or so many of the other names of God. So this, we're very fortunate, because in this Krishna consciousness movement and practice of Bhakti Yoga, Rupa Goswami and then Srila Prabhupada has delivered to us what he has given, 64 qualities of Krishna, his prominent qualities. Of course, his qualities are unlimited. But not only his qualities listed, but specific examples of how we can see and remember these qualities. So if we say, Krishna is most intelligent, what does that mean? How can I understand that? How can I meditate on his great intelligence? So, of course, we can see in terms of this material world, but that's simply not necessarily sufficient to take us to the spiritual world. What will we know about the spiritual world? All we'll know is the glories of God in this material world. We may not be satisfied with that. And generally, people are not. They think religion is just some ritual, something they have to do to make their lives morally good and they're socially acceptable, and to maybe have a little happiness and peace in this life. But to actually achieve the goal of love of God, that is so distant they can't actually comprehend it. It doesn't really sink home because they don't know who they want to love. They don't know. Can we imagine that, you hardly know somebody. After years and years, your whole lifetime of glorifying, you don't know who they are. It's a big challenge. So in the Bhagavad Gita, in chapter 12, text 12, Srila Prabhupada gives some further description of this process of meditation. Because Lord Krishna himself, we saw in this verse, was meditating on himself. He is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But he is so full and so complete in himself that he can meditate on himself. So in the purport, Prabhupada says, as mentioned in the previous verses, there are two kinds of devotional service. The way of regulated service, the regulated principles, and the way of full attachment and love to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. For those who are not actually able to follow the principles of Krishna consciousness, it is better to cultivate knowledge, because by knowledge one can be able to understand his real position, and gradually knowledge will develop to the point of meditation. So Prabhupada is saying this, that one can't follow this process of Krishna consciousness because then he needs to understand more. He needs to learn who is God, who is he. And then his meditation can deepen more and more till at some point he'd be ready to render service because he's fully absorbed in Krishna, in that thought of Krishna. By meditation, one will be able to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead by a gradual process. There are processes which make one understand that he himself is the Supreme, and that sort of meditation is preferred if one is unable to engage in devotional service. If one is not able to meditate in such a way, then there are prescribed duties enjoined in the Vedic literatures for brahmacharis, vaishyas, and sudras, which we shall find in a later chapter of Bhagavad Gita. But in all the cases, one should give up the result or fruits of his labor. This means to employ the results of karma for some good cause. In summary, to reach the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the highest goal, there are two processes. One process is by gradual development, and the other process is by direct. Direct devotional service in Krishna consciousness is the direct method. The other method involves renouncing the fruits of one's activity. Then one can come to the stage of knowledge, and then to meditation, and then to understanding the Super Soul, and then to the stage of Supreme Personality of Godhead. One may either take to the step-by-step process or the direct path. The direct path is not possible for everyone. Therefore, the indirect process is also good. It is, however, to be understood that the indirect process is not recommended for Arjuna because he is already at the stage of loving devotional service to the Supreme Lord. It is for others who are not at this state. For them, the gradual process of renunciation, knowledge, meditation, and realization of the Supersoul and Brahman should be followed. But as far as Bhagavad Gita is concerned, it is the direct method that is stressed. Everyone is advised to take to the direct method and surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. So this is Prabhupada's recommendation that this is the method for this age. One is meant, although there's other process of gradual development through meditation on his spiritual nature and his meditation on the Supreme Lord, will take him to the highest stage very gradually. The process of devotional service is direct. So often the example is that if one has to ascend to a very high place, like maybe the Empire State Building, one could get there by taking the stairs, which will take quite some time. Or one can take advantage of the elevator and then rise up to the topmost position very quickly. And that will give one greatest satisfaction and be feasible even with one lifetime. So, but to understand more deeply this process of, as Krishna is demonstrating, meditation, because what is he doing? He's giving an example to us. He's showing us that he also performs this meditation. So Lord Chaitanya, he recommended Chaito Darpana Marjanam. Marjanam means to cleanse, and Darpanam means the mirror. So the heart is a mirror. It is like a camera. Just as a camera takes all kinds of pictures of days and nights, so also our heart takes pictures and keeps them in an unconscious state. Psychologists know this. The heart takes so many pictures and therefore it becomes covered. We do not know when it has begun, but it is a fact, because there is material contact, our real identity is covered. So this is what the conditioned soul is experiencing. So many pictures are coming due to the association of the mind and senses with material sense objects on a daily basis. And that covers him. That prevents him from going deeper into spirituality. So this uncovering process, Lord Chaitanya is recommending the cleansing of the heart. Chaito Darpana Marjanam. This is the process, and let us hear more what this means and how to apply it. Therefore, Chaito Darpana Marjanam, one has to cleanse his heart. There are different processes to cleanse the heart. The jnana process, the yoga process, the meditation process, pious activities. Karma also cleanses the heart. If one acts very piously, his heart will gradually be cleansed. But although these processes are recommended for cleansing the heart in this age, they are all difficult. To follow the path of philosophical knowledge, one must become a very learned scholar. One must read so many books. One must go to learned professors and scholars and speculate. One must search out a person who has seen the light. So these are all philosophical processes. Meditation is also recommended. One should question, and Prabhupada here talks about the beginning meditation. What I am. Just consider, am I this body? No. Am I this finger? No, this is my finger. If you contemplate your leg, you will see, oh, this is my leg. Similarly, you will find everything to be mine. And where is the I? Everything is mine, but where is that I? When one is searching out for that I, that is meditation. Real meditation means concentrating the mind, all the senses, by concentrating all the senses in that way. But the meditation process is very difficult. One must control the senses. The senses are dragging one outward, but one has to bring them inward for introspection. Therefore, there are 8 processes in the yoga system. So, again, this is the process that most people are not aware of. In trying to understand themselves, they're going externally, trying to identify with the material world in different ways, and different persons and different philosophies. But the process of realization is an internal process, where one has within himself what he wants to understand himself, and Krishna as the super soul is there. So he has to enter within himself and focus his attention there. We know that by focusing your attention outward, the material world is there to distract us with so many sense objects. But by focusing internally, one comes closer to Krishna. So first, controlling the senses by regular principles. Then sitting postures will help concentrate the mind. If one sits leaning over, that will not help. If one sits up straight, that will help. Then controlling the breathing, then meditation, then samadhi. But today, these are very, very difficult processes. No one can immediately perform them. The so-called yoga processes are fragmental. Only sitting postures and a few breathing exercises are practiced. Therefore, one cannot therefore bring to the perfectional stage. The actual yoga process, although recommended in the Vedic processes, is very difficult in this age. Similarly, one can try to get knowledge by speculative process. This is Brahman, that is not Brahman. So what is Brahman? What is the spirit soul? Such an empiric philosophical discussion is also recommended, but is useless in this age. Therefore, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and not only Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but the Vedic literature says, Harinama, Harinama, Harinama eva klevalam, Kalo nasteva, nasteva, nasteva gatir anyata. Kalo means in this age. Nasteva, nasteva, nasteva. 3 times, certainly. Means, nasti means not, eva means certainly. So certainly not, certainly not, certainly not. What is that? What is certainly not? One cannot realize himself by karma. That is the first certainly not. One cannot realize himself by jnana. That is the second certainly not. One cannot realize himself by yoga. Certainly not. Kalo. Kalo means in this age. Kalo nasteva, 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 gatir anyata. In this age, one certainly cannot achieve success by any of these 3 methods. Then what is recommended process? Harinama, Harinama, Harinama eva kevalam. Simply chant Hare Krishna mantra. Kevalam means only. Simply chant Hare Krishna. It is the easiest and the most sublime process. This is recommended, practical, and authorized. So take it. Accept it in any condition of life. Chant. There is no expenditure, there is no loss. We are not chanting a secret. No, it is open. And by this chanting, you will cleanse your heart. So here Prabhupada is emphasizing the different processes of yoga and how they won't be successful in this age. We see there seems to be a bit of a resurgence of interest in yoga. But generally people have no idea what yoga is all about. They may become expert in the bodily movements of Hatha Yoga. And some few may even go further into pranayama, or perhaps even further into some meditation. But hardly anyone knows the details of what is the purpose of yoga and what is the ultimate to be achieved by yoga. And what to speak of cleansing the heart. People perform yoga and other processes these days, but the idea of cleansing the heart does not enter in anywhere. Therefore, it becomes a little difficult for them to make any progress at all. Simply practicing, but without the purpose, it becomes hollow. It becomes useless, unsuccessful. Therefore, Prabhupada and Lord Chaitanya are saying, it's not possible in this age. There are no proper teachers, and nor do we have the qualification to learn, to practice. People in general don't have that qualification. So therefore, by this chanting of Hare Krishna mantra, that is our meditation, and this will be successful. This will bring us to the highest perfectional stage, gradually, cleansing the heart. Cleansing the heart from all these images we've been capturing in our mind of who we are and what is happiness, what is our identity, what are we meant to be doing. So many images are captured and they're stored there and they cover the living entity's intelligence. He's not able to actually get the proper picture because he is identifying with material world and material body. Krishna also here is giving us a general, in these verses of the Bhagavatam, a general progression of his activities during the day, and giving us so many different images to store of how he's acting on a daily basis. He says in the Bhagavad Gita, Parichanaya sadhunan vinishchaya chaduskrikan dharma samstapayataya sambhavami yuge yuge. To deliver the pious and annihilate the miscreants, as well as to reestablish the principles of religion, I myself appear millennium after millennium. And he also says, Antakale chamamevya smara mukta kaleram yam prayate sanmadbhavam yate nasti atra samshaya. That whoever at the end of his life, quits his body remembering me alone, he at once attains my nature. Of this there is no doubt. So remembering Krishna is a focused activity, and Krishna comes to demonstrate what are those activities that we should remember. What is the focus? He comes to demonstrate, to give us example, the substance to meditate. What are we going to focus on? People in general don't know what those activities are, therefore their meditation is very brief and very shallow. Nor do they understand the process of cleansing the heart. Therefore, ultimately, although their efforts are well-intentioned, they will be somewhat unsuccessful. So this is Krishna's kindness to give us this encouragement, and it is also his training for us. He's giving practical demonstration of his life, how to live as a householder, how to engage in this meditation and daily activities, and how to live as a householder, how to treat devotees, how to honor and worship Brahmins. These are all Krishna's lessons to us that we are meant to learn. And this should be our meditation as well. How Krishna gives these examples to us, how to live life as a householder. So let me stop here and ask if anyone has any questions or comments that they would like to, additions for this class today. Yes, Trivikram Prabhu.
Haribol. I'm interested in that impression part. Is it all impressions one perceives is registered in the heart, or only some are registered? Remember, we perceive so many things through our senses, but is it everything is impressed upon the heart, or only some things are impressed?
Obviously, some things can be impressed on the heart more deeply. Just like, I don't know if you have an experience, but recently, I saw one devotee from the 80s when I was in Detroit posted some pictures from that time period. And suddenly, after seeing those pictures, I remembered a few devotees that were there and were definitely part of my life at that time. I'd totally forgotten them. I couldn't even tell you their name until I saw them. So some things don't stay in our mind very deeply, but certain things that are connected certainly with our desires will be very deeply impressed, because we identify with those desires and we think, this is something I will enjoy, this is something I want, this is preferable to where I am now. So let me consider that. And these images are coming, and then sometimes when we're thinking, oh, life is not going so well right now, those images pop up. Well, this would be better. Maybe if I change in this way. Yes, you have more questions?
one other part. It's stated that when one is about to die, all these images run through his one mind like a film. And the one that's impact the person most, that is the one he remembers and takes another body, usually. I mean, of course, this doesn't really apply so much to the devotees, but it's stated all these impressions run through like a tape. I don't remember if Srila Prabhupada wrote that somewhere, but then at the end, the one that's most interesting to the person stays with him, and then he takes that body. Well, Bhagavad Gita explains that too. You know, whatever you remember at the time of death, that.
Generally, that seems to be the sequence for most living beings, most entities. At the time of death, especially during the old age, one's body ceases to function in a very useful way. And because of that, one can only dream, one can only think about what was pleasant. You can no longer experience it. The body is no longer fit for that. So his mind will go to those things which he found the most pleasurable in life. And those things, if they're a materially based sense gratification, will capture the mind and capture his consciousness, and he'll think of that situation. We know it's very common that when we're in a difficult or frustrating position in this world in the course of life, the mind jumps to some pleasant situation. Sometimes people are even taught that by psychologists, that the best way when you're trapped in a difficult situation is to think of something pleasant. I think I've heard, like in a marriage, if people are having experiences and they're like fighting and quarreling so much, then in the midst of a big argument, that they can sort of remember some of the pleasant experiences they had when they were first meeting, then that will carry them out of that negative mentality into a positive feeling towards their spouse, and be one way of relieving that kind of stress and tension. So people, that's a natural activity of the mind, and the consciousness will focus on that. But if we're focused on Krishna consciousness, we know that Krishna will protect us. Krishna is there as our friend, and Krishna is there as our goal, our destination, so we'll want to be with him. We're aware of our spiritual identity, and we'll know that that is where I belong. I have a different place to be. I'm going to a different place, a better place. This is my opportunity. The door is open. You're going down into the airport, the door is open, you can pick which flight you want to get on. So the one going back to Godhead would say, oh, that's the best door, let me go out that one. I know what that will be. It's not unknown, because we spent so many years studying and becoming familiar with Krishna's activities and meditating on and performing devotional service. We'll want to take that door and go out that exit. Mother Shivandavan, you had some questions?
Hare Krishna Prabhu. I was just thinking when you said, about who am I or who is the I, coming to Krishna consciousness and practicing for so many years, I don't remember very many times when I've actually thought of that question. Like, when I'm, chanting or doing different services. And as you said that, the immediate thing which popped in my head was Jivera Sarupa Hoy Nitya Krishna Das, that how it is Krishna kind of tricks us. We are doing our sadhana bhakti process, and just by doing the do's and doing all of the practices, that realization comes naturally. I remember when very beginning of my spiritual quest, there was one devotee who was visiting from Canada, and he would say, I say every day, so many times, hundreds of times, I'm not this body, I'm not this body, I'm not this body. And you can say it, but the realization, it seems like, will come by just doing the things, making the endeavor of engaging in devotional service. So we don't have to make a separate endeavor of trying to find who am I. So it's such a wonderful process, and thank you so much for, making that awareness for us, for me especially, that I need to be very thankful that come to this space by the grace of Srila Prabhupada. Thank you, Prabhupada.
Thank you. It is true that actually we don't have to separately perform this meditation, because in all our classes, discussions, readings, this concept, I am not this body, I am spirit, aham brahmasmi, I am that soul, part of Krishna, that's woven in so continuously that it's like a young child going to school. They learn the ABCs and all the basics very quickly because it's continuously woven into their learning process. And so that by the time they reach 34th grade, it's automatic. They don't have to what comes after C? Is it D? Yeah, okay, what is D? They don't have to think about it. It's so well woven in. And we can see that this concept of being a direct process devotional service, is actually so true and so beneficial. Otherwise, this meditating on who am I, what is this body, what is that me, could take quite a long time. Sometimes great thinkers in history, we quote them on the back of the Bhagavad Gita, like Thoreau, Emerson, Socrates, so many persons. They have done these meditations and gradually arrived to the point of understanding a little bit about spirituality. But for us, it just happens automatically, just by being engaged in this process that Prabhupada gave us based on Lord Chaitanya's teachings. So just to apply them seriously on a daily basis, that is our main focus. And it's so easy, because we can see in our life, we get so busy, especially as householders, that deep meditation, that is sometimes very rare thing. So many things capture us during the day. But on the other hand, Prabhupada has helped us and taught us to integrate everything we have into Krishna consciousness, to dovetail all our activities. Therefore, we easily connect everything with Krishna. Our whole day becomes a meditation. Otherwise, 24 hours meditation is very difficult. So many things to do during the day, very difficult. Any other questions or comments? So we can end here. Thank you everyone for coming today. All glories to Srimad Bhagavatam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada.